When we first came here, it was winter. Winter really shocked me. First year when I came, I thought that Nova Scotia does not have summer. It's only 2 seasons, cold and very cold. But right now I'm comfortable. I love the 4 season. Actually, in fact, when I went home, I have a cultural shock myself because it's just way too warm for me. I was born in Taiwan in a big farm family. It's a very traditional one, so we live in almost like a communal kind of a setting. We live side by side with our uncles, so we have like a row of houses and we share a common courtyard. Behind it was a grandmother's little house, and then we have place for livestock and stuff like that. I would say that people are into your business most of the time, so that you don't really have a lot of privacy and a lot sometimes argument, but most of the time it's good.
Were your parents creative or artistic?
Oh, not at all. They were farmers, right? And my mom never gone to school, so she has no idea what art is, which is really fine with me, actually. My dad, he died when I was really young. So when I was 9 years old, he passed away. So we actually had no kind of nothing about arts, kind of environment at home. Because it's kind of communal kind of life, right? So when the adults were working in the field, in the farm, my grandmother looked after us. She has like 12 grandkids, so she had to look after them. So I have this cousin, we call that 二姐, which means that the second big sister, that she actually was assigned to look after me. So she was 6 years older than me, and she actually was very interested in paintings and drawings and stuff like that. She was doing some kind of training process that a lot of kids did. All through high school, you take lessons, private lessons, that is. So actually, she was the one actually kind of inspired me. And she wanted to teach us, the whole bunch of kids, to draw. So she set up a still life setting that she wanted us to draw. Because she was kind of one of my favorite cousins, so I wanted to kind of please her. So I started to actually to draw from her teaching, and later on, actually, she took me out painting. And then we went to a nearby farmland or something like a countryside, and she was actually painting paddy or rice field of some sort. And there was a big pile of garbage in front of her. So when I was watching her, she actually simplifies that pile of garbage. And from that moment, it was like almost like a epiphany of sort that I realized painting is not about recording everything that you see. You enhance the essential part, and yet you omit or simplifies the one that would not have the painting or something like that. That's how I kind of started to like painting, especially plein air painting, because it's a very romantic idea that you travel and you paint. But when I was in high school, one of the art teachers actually encouraged me to pursue further. I actually started to take lessons and then to do more. But the test, the entry exam for the college is drawing and painting. You have to learn to do the charcoal or pencil drawing and then watercolor painting. That's part of the exam too. Back in Taiwan, it's a very competitive field too. We only have one very top-notch school that every kid wanted to get into. So you have to kind of aim for that kind of a goal to get in. So you have to be really, really kind of good at, that technical part too. I would say that so-called formal training, it's about foundation. And foundation is what I really advocate. If you have that, you can pretty much go any direction you want. The formal training is about the foundation of grasping the line, form, and also the values, the contrast and perspective. Once you got that, you can go anywhere, you can go any direction, and because you already mastered that part of it. So rest of them actually is easy. You don't have to struggle. Do you know what I mean? The college part is you learn more different techniques and different maybe styles, different schools of arts, and that's what you get in college. You want the master kind of approach, right? You aim high. So actually, I love Winslow Homer's painting, and of course, Chinese painting. It's a big part of our lives too. So I would love that too. The Impressionists, of course, we love them, and then the old masterpieces, and also Andrew White. In Taiwan, the watercolor actually is a really, really popular medium. Not many people I know would have any idea what oil painting is. Also, we are familiar with Chinese painting, which is kind of watercolor painting as well. So I think that's what most people's approach to art, they started with the watercolor. To answer the question of difference between acrylic and watercolor, you have to kind of realize that they are very kind of different approach. Watercolor, people would say that it's actually the most difficult medium. Once I heard somewhere that describe watercolor, they say watercolor is just like contact sports. It has risk, it has pressure, and it has adrenaline rush. Yeah, very technical. It needs a lot of control, and yet at the same time, you need freedom to be able to let go of things, because there's a lot of things that you cannot paint. A detailed part of it you cannot do in watercolor. Watercolor, you're almost like you are fighting every day. You have a struggle every day, and yet you have a reward as well, right? But acrylic is very different. Acrylic is like you suddenly let go. You can put color whatever you want because color does not run. There's no paper involved, so the paper would dry fast. Acrylic is almost like welcoming actually medium for me. I just started to paint it about like 5 years ago. I was never interested in the first place, but the fact is I had to do a workshop in Lockport and had to teach myself very quickly because they had to teach them to do acrylic, and then I didn't really want it. I was never interested, but I had to learn. And after that, I didn't really think too much. I do a little bit smaller pieces of still life here and there. But one day, actually, I have an impulse to do something big. So I just started with the biggest painting I ever painted, like 30 by 40 of a buoy, actually. And actually, I give myself 1 year to master this medium. But the fact is that the first piece I ever done, it didn't turn out too bad, so I sent it into an annual competition. It's called The Best of Acrylic. It's an American publication, and it got in. I was so surprised because I really never really expected that. So that kind of tells you that, first of all, foundation is the key. Yeah, if you have that, everything's be easier. And second of all, is that it's a relief for me for painting acrylic because you can really take your time. If you don't like it, you can go and correct it, cover the color if you don't like it. But for watercolor, it's a very different thing. Watercolor, you pretty much only got one chance. You ruin it, and that's pretty much it. So that's what I said, that almost like a fighting. You're fighting every day, and all of a sudden, you don't have to fight anymore. Yeah, so that's kind of feeling with acrylic. And also, like, it fits the need for me because I was not happy with watercolor for a long time. Yeah, it's just that when you reach a point that you are staying still for a while, and that is a really nice break for me. Yeah. A lot of painters say that the paintings are their babies. They don't want to let go. They don't want to sell. For me, the process of it itself is a reward for me. That's a part we crave. That's why we get back to our studio working every day, right? The conquering of the color, and then struggling with the technique. Also because you work in a studio, you stare at one painting for a week or a few days. At the end, that's pretty much it. You would love them to get out of your studio. And selling, if it got sold, that's a bonus itself, right? You have to sell. That's the part. You have to make a living. When I first came here to Shelburne, I was taking classes in Halifax, and then we moved here. So when I first came, actually, I got nothing to do. So we have a local kind of craft shop that actually, she actually encouraged me to do something. She knew I'd gone to college and art college, so that she actually encouraged me. I started to paint some small thing here and there just to sell. And actually it was a very humbling experience that people wanted to buy my painting. Actually, I was so happy. It was not really prevalent to sell paintings back in Taiwan. Back then, it's just not really the kind of thing that people will spend the money to purchase a piece of art. I mean, I'm sure people do, but it's like not, we don't really have a lot of galleries around to things like that. But the thing is, a friend actually introduced me to Son of the Whale, Michael and Francis. And then that's where I kind of get really serious about painting. I get my confidence, and then they are so encouraging, and they are really good at selling too. And then after a few years of display the Son of the Whale, have my first solo show ever. 30 some pieces there, and actually the show actually went really well. I saw almost everything actually there. And it was a great loss when they closed the business, when they retired. So that was very encouraging, and that's when I get really serious about become a full-time painter. When I first came, I felt really comfortable because most of the time people are really, really friendly. Yeah, and culturally, it takes time to adjust, but basically right now I'm kind of climatized. And for the art, that's the best part for the painting, because I would never imagine that I'd become a painter. I still have the news clipping. The big title says that my dream came true, because I always wanted to be a painter. And I would never imagine myself doing that in Taiwan. My childhood friend, actually, they were actually very surprised that I became a painter. And Canada make it this possible for me. So actually, I'm really happy about that. Yeah. Actually, I have to give credit to my husband too, because he's the one who 100% supportive, which is actually make it a whole lot really easier for me, and I'm really grateful for that, actually. Yeah.
The arts community in Southwest Nova, is it a welcoming arts community?
Yeah, it is a very welcoming community. I do love the Yarmouth community too. I mean, I've been there for many years actually, and I get to meet all the different painters and artists too. And they usually have something going on. The art society is really good, and the yard is really supportive too. My future, actually, my dream, I can paint what I wanted to paint, not just to sell. Pursuing the selling part of it, it's hard sometimes. One thing got sold, you have to paint another one because they sell, right? And if you paint more the same thing too, you kind of lose the passion, the momentum of it. I would love to be able to paint and maybe say no once a while to commission work, because that's part that I enjoy the challenge of it, but at the same time when you do commission, you lose part of you too. You have to put the commission, the people's want in first place, and you have to bring yourself into a little bit, but not all of it. So that part kind of like not very interesting part. The people who wanted me to do commission, they're actually quite wonderful. They say just do whatever that you do, But the thing is that you kind of worry a little bit too. You want to ask, okay, what do you want me to put in? Okay, last time I did, a gentleman wanted me to do a house, but he wants to do some ornaments or something like that, which you never wanted to put in the first place, but that means something to them, so you have to put those in. Maybe someday I don't have to do the commission. And maybe participate more of competition, because I usually don't really have a lot of time to do things like that. It's a very different kind of category on its own, because you have to do something either daring or something that you never tried before, something that wow people. You have to have that kind of element to it to get into a competition. But doing so, you bring your skill level to another kind of level, right? So that is the part that I would love to do more of that. I mean, even the commission one, I still enjoy doing them, because painting as a job. That's the best job. That's the job that I dream of. Even though subject may be not my top priority one, I still love the painting part of it. I think for me, standing still is the worst thing for me. So I have to move, try new subjects and then try more new techniques. Yeah.